All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com, 1010XL app, live on my Facebook and archived and shared all over YouTube, 1010's page, of course, all over the internet, all over social media, podcast platforms, you name it. My man Grammage here does a great job cutting it up and putting it out there and getting all of you a chance to check it out. Brought to you by my good friends at Team Tommy Mac. Make sure you go to TommyMac.net, see all their logos. Just click on the logo, take you right to their website, their respective website. Got a nice text from my friend Jason during the radio show. He told me he sent his parents, and he's outfitting his whole house with some Carpet Man's LVP, and wanted me to know that. So that's always cool to hear. Lots to get into. 2-5 Jags taking on the 5-2 Packers. No one hardly gives us a chance. I'll tell you why we do have a chance, and we'll go through it and much more. But first, let's welcome in Grammage as he's putting this show together each and every time. What's up, Grammage? How are you, pal?
Happy Friday, sir.
Happy Friday to you, and happy new uncleship as you are newly uncle.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to your sister.
Yes, sir. My sister had a baby last night. It's her third.
All right.
Little baby Naomi is her name.
Beautiful.
They got the whole same letter thing that they got going on. So it's Nathan, Noah, and Naomi.
Okay. We did it the other way. We went the ERY side. Avery, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Or EY side. Avery, Kelsey, Harley.
It's cool to have a theme for the fam.
Yeah, of
Get
course.
It going.
Yeah. I call them my lionesses. That's our theme. My pride of lions that I'm very proud of. No doubt about it. All right, you saw last night's game. Well, most of you did. I saw maybe the first quarter. And then I was sleepy last night, man. I had to get my sleep. Had a great busy week, but a great week.
Good game.
Yeah, it was a good game. I watched in the morning, watched the highlights in the morning, and how they don't call the face mask. I mean, not that Minnesota would have won anyway, but that was I don't know, blatant. How do you not see that? You had to see it. You're looking right at it. You just didn't want to call it. But nonetheless, it was a good game. Rams come away victorious. We'll see Minnesota in a couple weeks after we take on the Green Bay Packers here at home. We're underdogs, I think, by 4.5 right now, or 5.5, somewhere in that range. We'll go through it. It looks like Foyer and Dewey are going to be decisions after practice today to confirm whether they're ready to rock and roll. I hope both of them are. We'll talk about that. It looks like Cam's cleared concussion protocol. I still think we start Walker Little, but we'll talk about that. Cam's got to be on the ready, no doubt. We'll go through team stats. We'll go through some of their players. I mean, they've got a good team, but there is a crack in the armor. And I watched it last week as the Houston Texans went toe-to-toe with them. Look, common opponents, pretty close. Pretty close. They've played Indy. They beat Indy. We beat Indy. They beat them more decisively, but we beat Indy as well. And then they had a close game with Houston. Had a last-second field goal to win it. And what's interesting about that game is Houston's on the road. It ended up being 24-22, and Stroud did not have a good game. I mean, he did not perform well. He was under fire, but what did perform well was that rushing attack. And I think there's something to be said there because I went back and I looked at each game that the Pack have played and wanted to see who ran on them and who didn't. The only two teams that didn't run on them was Tennessee. They shut down Tennessee and
Who sucks at everything
Zona.
right now.
What's that?
Tennessee sucks at everything.
They're not a very good team. And then Zona, but they only had 11 carries, so there must have been more throwing for Zona in that regard. But the Eagles ran on them. Indy ran on them. Minnesota ran on them. The Rams ran on them. And the Texans ran on them.
So every team that has a good running back.
Yeah,
basically.
significantly beat 4. I'm looking at, I always go by yards per carry, right? You have 4.6, 4.6, 4.2, 4.5. Indy had 8.6. Part of that's Richardson, and part of that was Jonathan Taylor having a monster game against him. So can we maybe duplicate that? Well, it's going to start with up front. And it always does. We know this. But I thought the way the offensive line played last week. And by the way, if I may, New England's not a very good football team. But last week was the first time their defense really got pushed around. I mean, they're normally a decent defense. Normally a physical defense. normally keep them in games kind of, and then their offense, they just couldn't get it done. But we wore out that defense, and we broke their back. We broke their will. I don't know if they gave up, but they were not playing as hard as they were in the beginning. And I guess what? Our O-line they were playing even harder. I'm watching Sheriff throwing number 15 a little bit after a play like that. I love that aggressiveness. Walker Little, who I've been hard on. Listen, that guy came out to play, man. He had a different attitude. It's, look, it's attitude. At that level, you're kind of the same. Like, even if you're on a crappy team, the guy you go against may be just as big as the guy that you normally go against, just as fast, just as athletic. Maybe he's not as good on technique. Maybe he gets high when he's tired. I don't know, but he's still a good football player. And that's the NFL, right? So even though they're 1-5 or whatever New England was, no, they're not a very good team. That doesn't mean they don't have players that can disrupt a game and take over a game and give you a lot of problems. But they didn't. So I think you got to keep it in perspective. But the way they handled New England, granted, Parker Washington's return helped a ton, but that's okay. That's part of being a team. I don't think he'll get that this week, but you never know. I was shocked he took it to the house anyway. I thought it was a fantastic play. So I do think there's an opportunity to win this game. No one's really going to give you a chance. They're going to think Love's going to just eat you up. And look, our defense has shown that they really can't stop any passing attack, especially when we don't have a consistent rush. Last week was better. May still had success from time to time when he had time. I'm worried about their tight end, Kraft. He's very athletic. This guy came out. I don't even know where he went to college. I don't really know who he is. But guess what? Even watching him last week, he can move. So who's going to cover him down? Hopefully Foyer's back. One of my keys is playing Walker Little at left tackle. It's kind of a hot hand type thing, right? It's a hot hand. You know what? They played really well together. That's not a demotion, although it'll feel like one. I just think Walker Little and what he did, I like the way he played. I like the way Ezra played. I like the way they all played. And you know what? Go overload. Bring in that extra tackle. Let Cam be that extra guy. Let him be all pissed off that he's not starting and he's going to be the sixth guy, but we're going to use him a lot. Because why? Because we're going to pound the rock on this team, and then we're going to play action them to death with not just Brian Thomas Jr. We also got to get it to Kirk and Ingram. And I'm telling you, they're linebackers. Quay Walker's a very good linebacker. Isaiah McDuffie will make plays, but Isaiah McDuffie, I think, can be had in the passing game. But it's only going to work if you run the ball. You got to be able to move the ball on this defense if you're going to have any opportunity to throw the ball. Because I do think when it's all said and done, you're just going to have to I don't think our defense is going to stop them that many times. I don't. I got us winning. I do. And I feel like a little bit is manifestation, like hope and wishful thinking, all that. However, last week I saw a little bit different of a team. I saw a team that wasn't making a ton of mistakes. There were still some. I saw a team that were pushing guys around, not getting pushed around. I saw a quarterback that looked really, really comfortable, really, really confident, including when he took off and ran the football. So I'm seeing these things. Now, you can say, well, Tom, it was against New England. My combatant is, well, okay, but they're still NFL players. They're still guys that could, cause problems. So, yes, collectively, that's why you keep it in perspective. But let me tell you something. They beat them 32-16. It wasn't 17-16. So there's something there for that. Can they duplicate it? That's the big question. What did I say after Indy? And then it was after Indy was the Bears, right? They crapped down their leg against the Bears. They made a lot of mistakes against the Bears. The Bears played a good game, but we made a lot of mistakes. Well, what did that tell me? They didn't handle the Indy win like they should have. I think they thought, oh, well, look at us now. We can win. We can just show up. No. Now you know what it takes. The preparation, the attitude, all of that, the execution. They executed well last week. They played the game the way they're supposed to play it. They should have done it against the Bears. They had a chance. So can they do that? Can they handle the New England victory, keep it in perspective, and bring forth that energy and that preparation towards every game now, not just Green Bay? Because guess what, Grammage? You don't beat Green Bay, last week don't count. It don't even matter.
Correct.
It will not matter.
We're right back to square one.
You're right back to square one.
if I wanted to piggyback off your point about beating the Patriots and people saying, well, they're not good, because I totally agree with you. This is the NFL. This isn't college where you beat, South Dakota State and it's different. Like, this is the league. Secondly, to your point, they doubled their score. Right. They kicked their ass. Kicked their ass. So, like, yeah, it's not a good team, but they showed up and kicked their ass. Like, it wasn't fluky. It wasn't back and forth. The Jaguars dominated that game start to finish, with the exception of a couple of bad mistakes and plays, whatever. Yep. Lastly, this has been aggravating to me all year. The Cincinnati Bengals have not been good this year.
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
The New England Patriots beat them week 1.
They did.
But no one seems to care.
Right.
If the Patriots are so bad, then we should all be counting the Bengals out. They're done. Right. They're cooked. The season's over. Right. Joe Burrow sucks. He's a bum, blah, blah, blah.
That was the opener, I think.
That was the opener.
Yeah.
And they crapped down their leg that first week of the year.
Yep.
And the Bengals I think they have one more win than Jaguars right now. Like, it's pretty comparable.
Recovered very well.
Overall. But everyone's saying to hold out hope for the Bengals, and they can still do that. That's the worst defense in the NFL, probably, in Cincinnati.
No doubt.
But here in Jacksonville, it's like, oh, well, the Patriots. No, you got to keep it the same. You can't move the goalpost based on who you want
to. Look, openers compared to week 6 could be a little bit different, but I agree with you. And look, anything can happen in the NFL, but anything can't happen in the NFL if you make mistakes. You got to play a clean game. If you're on paper and record and whatnot going against a team that looks better than you overall, and they do we could go position by position. I don't think it'd be that much better, but it's a little bit better. Their record's better. They've got a better team overall. But you can beat a team like that if you play a clean game, without question. And maybe the ball bounces your way, and maybe you call, look, again, if you don't get consistent on your pass rush, nothing's going to happen. They were more consistent last week. I'll tell you why. Because Eric Armstead played in the 3 technique spot.
Imagine that.
Yeah, fantastic move.
If only there was a podcast that had been preaching that for weeks and weeks, right?
Well, here's my next thing. Okay, look, I know guys get tired, but never, ever, 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 not even for one play, should both 44 and 41 be off the field. Never. Like, never. Give one of them a blow. Don't give both of them a blow. Why? I don't understand that logic, but change it, whatever it is. Let them, look, okay, need a rest. Come out, Josh, great. I don't even care if they put Eric at end then. That's fine. But don't take out a Walker at the same time. Don't do that. Find somebody else.
You have a rare luxury that most teams do not have in this league, where you have 2 premier, what we consider to be premier edge rushers that are problems for tackles.
Yes.
Why you would ever bail out an offense by putting both of them is crazy. And it isn't like either Trayvon and Josh, for any critique, which there's been a lot in their career, neither of them you could ever say take plays off.
No, they don't.
They've both never had effort problems, never had being out of shape problems. Yep. That has never been an issue for either one of them. I think
Josh is still a little heavy. I do, but no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But on tape, their entire careers, dating back to college, that's never been an issue for either of these guys. So why would you? So that tells me that when they have gas in the tank, you're taking them off the field.
No, especially critical downs. Don't ever take them off the field. I don't care if they're tired. Teach them how to breathe.
Coaching.
There's a way to lower your heart rate. I learned it from Tellis. I hope Tellis hears this. Tellis Asamenos used to train me at his house. Tellis is the GM over at Tom Bush BMW. He's been there forever. He's from Greece. He was a taekwondo on the Olympic team. I used to go to his house, and we would train taekwondo, boxing, and a little bit of kung fu. And he showed me how to breathe to lower my heart rate. I still do it today when I'm working out. And you can do it in like 7 breaths. So you have enough time in between plays. You could be totally, I'm telling you, you could be totally gassed. And I'm not gonna demonstrate, but it's basically you take it real deep in the beginning, right? The first couple, but you blow it out your mouth, like in through your nose, heavy out the mouth. Then you do like 3 of those, real deep and strong, and then you go just through the mouth, and then you go back to the nose and the mouth for 1 or 2 more. And I'm telling you, your heart rate goes down. You got to fill up the diaphragm. So he'd tell me, like, Feel your stomach push out and do these breathing techniques, and I swear to you, you lower your heart rate, you catch your breath. You got to – it's hard because, when you get tired, your mind goes, and then your legs go, and then you can't breathe, right? But if you can slow it down, it can happen. But regardless, whether they learn that or not, they can't come off the field in critical downs. I don't care if they're tired. I do not care. You gotta suck it up and come up with some kind of will to get the job done for one more play. That's all I'm asking for you.
Something I would say to piggyback off of that is I don't think Josh and Trayvon care if they're tired.
No,
knowing that they're the type of dudes that never want to leave the field.
Right.
So that tells me that it is the coaching staff that is making these rotations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
which I could not possibly disagree with.
Right.
Like they obviously call the shots, but I mean, like, it isn't like they're taking them out because constantly Trayvon and Josh are like, I need a blow.
No, you never see them do that.
Never.
I don't see them do that.
Never.
No.
So what?
I don't know. I don't like it.
That's crazy.
And again, if you're going to rotate one of them. But who would be that third guy? Let's say it's not Eric, because we want Eric inside. Who would it be? Right? So we don't know. What is the answer? Is it Devin Lloyd? I don't know. I'd like to see. I would like to here's another key. Take him out of coverage. He's not my Mike linebacker in coverage any longer. He can play linebacker in the base package, but nickel, it's Miller and Foye if Foye plays now. And if it's dime, it's Foye or Miller. It's no longer – it can't be. He's a liability in coverage. I love the kid. I love the way he plays. I want him just moving forward. But something missing in the coverage. He even when they don't throw to his guy seems to be open. You go watch and rewind, and if you can kind of – by the way, if you're the Mike backer in dime, you typically have number 3 to the strong side. So just go watch some of that, and you'll see it gets confusing. I mean, guys, they motion, they shift. You're not communicating. Here's an example of where this defense is at to a certain degree. Last week, remember the play where Josh had to go over? It was the first touchdown. Well, it turns out that Trayvon actually should have taken the back. They should have basically swapped. But here's the problem I have with that. Now, it makes sense because the back's offset to Trayvon's side. And if I'm Josh, I'm way over here. I'm never going to get to that guy if that's my man. Now, if he came out to my side, yeah, I could hang with him all day long, right? If he's just going to run a little swing pass, I could shuffle out there and try to stay in front of him until the cavalry comes. But I can't run all the way across the formation to cover that guy. Well, it should have been an automatic swap, right, where Trayvon would have taken him and then Josh would have rushed. However, Josh and Lloyd have words before the play. And I know Lloyd's telling him, like, hey, you got the back. But nobody ever says nothing to Walker. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Trayvon, back's to your side. Right. Done. Then there's no, because that's a mismatch in the open field. Especially it's much different if the guy's in front of me and he runs a little thing out. I'm not saying I'm going to tackle him in the open field, but for me to run full speed all the way across, stop, and then try to come back. I mean, that's a 285-pound guy trying to do that. Can't do that.
You're asking Josh to run across the country and then make an open field tackle with a really shifty back in a third down back in open space.
Which you shouldn't never. It's a mismatch. You never do that.
Going back to the personnel part of it, Myles Garrett would have gotten juked in that.
Oh, yeah,
most
a lot of guys
likely.
almost all of them.
Some of the best rushers in the game, same thing would have happened.
TJ Watt, that could happen to.
This is a communication problem of you're leaving guys in an island that shouldn't even be on that island in the first place.
And for the record, so you know, okay, I know Trayvon stood up and said it was his fault, but it's the responsibility of the Mike linebacker to make sure everybody knows that. Like, he should have recognized it right away and said, hey, flop, or whatever the call is, that you got him. He's to your side. And then if he switched, you would say, all right, flop others. That's how you're the Mike backer. You've got to communicate all that stuff, especially when you're the only backer. You're the dime backer. You got to communicate that stuff. So hopefully that gets better. But back to these personnel swaps. Let's get rid of them. I got an idea too. Where's Miles Cole? Why? Look, I don't know if he's the answer, but he's more of a truer defensive end. Played it in college, flashed in camp. I know he's on the active roster, right? I mean, he's been activated. He just hasn't been playing. So I want to. You got to come. My point is, we got to come up with a third defensive end that's not named Armstead. Because even when Josh and/or Trayvon are out, I still want Armstead inside as much as possible. Which means what? Well, then I've got to replace either Josh or Trayvon with somebody that can rush the passer. I don't think it's Abdullah. No disrespect to Yasir Abdullah. I don't think it's Graziano. You know, I think Lloyd could do a better job than both of them. But if you're not ready to go Lloyd, then let's go. Get the next guy ready. And maybe it's Miles Cole. I don't know. He just looked to me like he's a pretty athletic guy, pretty fast, looked like he knew how to rush the passer. Maybe it's time to see what he can do. I mean, what can it hurt? You're switching guys out all over the place anyway.
Well, it makes it incredibly aggravating, Tommy, because you and I talked about it on this podcast. It was talked about by a lot of people throughout people that follow this team on shows and podcasts the entire offseason. They need a third pass rusher. They need a third pass rusher. They need a third pass rusher. This was something you said. This was something I said. This was something Jaguars Today said. This was something that was talked about by a lot of people. And here we are midway through the season finding ourselves in desperate need of a third pass rusher. And it's incredibly aggravating that it feels like everybody except the general manager and head coach and defense coordinator apparently see that.
Right.
And
well, they would say it's Eric.
Correct.
That's what they would say.
And that was clearly an oversight.
Not his best position. Not his highest and best use, as our commercial real estate people would say.
I mean, he is hopeless in open space. Against the run, when a quarterback scrambles out.
Yep.
Like, anytime you have a quarterback with some speed or a running back or what have you, where your edge guy needs to be able to close some gaps in space,
right,
he is hopeless.
Right. He's not the guy.
I mean, I go back to the play we talked about last week. People are making fun of when he tripped over himself. He was actually inside on that play. But anyways, the play where it was clear he doesn't belong in that position was when Caleb Williams made the wrong read on a read option and still just killed him to the outside. Right. You can't have that.
Right.
You can't have that and expect to have success on defense.
Right. And he's shown inside that he's a beast.
He's a beast.
I mean, beast. Like, nobody can block him one-on-one.
So even
nobody.
The
Jaguars be like Calais. Now, Calais played some end. It's fine. But where he was most damaging was from that 3 technique.
So to your point that you made earlier, needing that third pass, even if they don't have like the bona fide third pass rusher, to your point, if 41 and 44, at least one of them is always on the field, and a lot of the times both, and Eric plays consistently inside for the most part, now I feel pretty good about my defensive line. I'd like that third guy, but even without that third, I feel good.
Yeah.
But when
Lloyd could be that guy. You know what I mean? Because he can't be in coverage. He can't. He's a liability. Kraft, this kid from Green Bay will eat his lunch all day long. He might even eat Cisco's lunch. He's that athletic and fast. You're going to have a problem with this kid.
He's a South Dakota State Jackrabbit, by the way.
What's that?
He's a South Dakota State Jackrabbit.
Is he? Well, he runs like one. I mean, he's tough. He's fast. He's athletic. He can catch. He will eat up Lloyd all day long. He's not athletic enough to keep up with this kid. Miller can cover. So can Foye. Foye can do it all. We need him back desperately. I hope he gets confirmation that he is going to play this week, because that could be a big problem. But that doesn't mean Lloyd's not valuable, because he is. He's good against the run, and I think he can rush. Whether it's inside, outside, I don't care. But look, you don't have a number 3. So maybe it's him. And go back to what he did in college. Didn't he do that in college? That's all he did, I think. I don't know if he played middle. And look, for a little commending him, like, good job being able to play middle. And by the way, watch him against the run. He is always around the ball. So is Miller. They're both always around the ball. He's got good instincts against the run. And I know, you see these guys, they throw out the film, oh, he went the wrong way. Sometimes you can't see the back because the mass of people are right there. You have to guess. Is he inside? Is he out? Maybe you saw him flash. You made the bad mistake. But I'm telling you, for the majority of the time, that guy reads the ball well, and he's always near the ball if he's not making the tackle. Against the run, he just struggles in the passing game. I think a lot of it's just mental. I think he gets confused and lost and doesn't know who his coverage is. Whatever, it's okay. That's why the coaches have to come together and say, all right, how do we use this kid the best to his ability? Because he is talented. He's got talent. Use him to the best of your ability. But I think those are things that I really want to see. I know they're things I really want to see on defense and on offense. I already told you I think Walker Little should be my left tackle, and let's just see what he can do. All right, we know the lineup with the Pack. Their offense is good, man. They're good. They average almost 27 points a game. Jordan Love has 15 touchdowns, 8 picks. He's only been sacked 7 times. Pretty impressive. Now, he's elusive, and he missed a game or two, but only 7. No, that's 7 total. That's with Malik Willis playing for that game or so. 7 total sacks for the offensive line. They also average on offense rushing the ball 5 yards a carry. Jacobs is at 4.5, and then Wilson at 4.7. So, look, these guys, they can pound the ball. They can play action you. Play action will kill us with Kraft, I'm telling you. They got Watson. They've got Jaden Reed, who's a really quick, fast. Got to be good tackling him. You got to have the cavalry running. Got to do those pursuit drills in practice where you run at full speed to the ball every single play because that's what it's going to take. So they've got an offense now. They've got a pretty darn good offense. Their defense is pretty good in the fact that, A, they only give up 20 points a game due to our 27. And they're very good on third down. And on top of that, they're very opportunistic. They're +6 in turnover ratio. +6. We're -4. -4. They're +6. So they have 12 forced fumbles. 8 of them recovered. Again, it's a mentality. It's a mentality of knocking the ball out, getting the ball out, getting pressure on the QB. I'm telling you right now, I feel like, look, I got them winning, and I know it's a little bit wishful thinking, but I think if we can somehow control them a little bit, we'll have a chance. With that being said, I feel like it's going to be like, you mentioned Cincinnati, I feel like it's going to be that kind of a game. Now, granted, Jake Browning should have never done what he did, but he did. But our offense was humming that night, and we kept stride for stride. I think we're going to see that. I hope we see that. Because the other side of it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all, right? So we're going to keep it positive. We want our offense. I feel really good about our offense. I don't feel very good about our defense.
You got to score points to win.
You're going to have to outscore.
Yeah.
We got to score many, but you're going to have to.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I got it. What did I say? 30-27. Now we don't score 30 a lot, but you know what? I'm feeling like it's going to click again. Scored 32 last week. Part of that was a punt return. I understand. But I feel like 25 points, let's go another step. Everybody's got to make plays. Everybody's got to do their job. Last week, I felt like you did your job for the most part, right? You did your job. You caught the ball. You made the right read. You kept your quarterback clean. You opened up some holes. You ran the ball well. You held on to the ball for the most part. You returned a punt for a touchdown. You were clicking last week. Can you click again this week? Like we said earlier, and I said it on Jaguars today, man. You don't beat the Pack. The season's not over, but all the momentum that you may have right now is lit on fire and scorched earth. It's done. It's over. And now I don't know what to think about you. Now, you get beaten, it's close, and you almost had them. Okay, it's a different conversation, right? The best conversation is a victory conversation. And then we got Philly. Philly's got Cincy. We keep bringing up Cincy. They should beat Cincy. They flexed us. They should have. Who wants to see a team that wasn't doing very well, right? I wouldn't nationally. Sorry, folks. I love them too, but I don't know. Who do I rather see? I wouldn't rather see us. So we get flexed out. So how about we, you know what? Take our punch, take the shot to the face, duck next time, and let's go earn that flex. Let's go earn a flex later in the year. Maybe we become one of these hot teams. I'll tell you right now, I don't know how you're going to do it. I really don't, unless you just keep progressing. But these next 4 or 5 games are a bitch. And it's too bad you didn't have a little bit of cushion in the victory column because you're going to get some very good teams with Green Bay and Philly and Minnesota, Detroit.
God, at Detroit.
And then you got Houston after that. That's no joke either. So look, what am I saying? Clean. Execution, no mistakes. Give yourself a chance. You do those things, and number one, God rest my dad's soul, he said, you always out-hit them, you got a chance. Be more physical than them. They're going to be physical. They're Green Bay. They're known for physicality. That NFC North, that's what they're a bruiser type division. They bang, and then they play action you to death, and they focus on being very physical. So what? We were very physical. New England's defense, I'm telling you, they're a physical front, and we handled them. We eventually got to them. I think it can happen again.
Does it not feel, Tommy, like, I don't know if it's because he's displaying better vision and just the runs are turning out better, or I can't, it's hard to put my finger on the actual reasoning. Doesn't it feel like when Tank carries the ball, the offensive line is more physical?
Yeah, I do.
It feels like those runs where you get stood up for a second, but the O-line comes in the last minute, pushes you for 3-4 extra yards, create that extra explosiveness off the ball and separation. Right. When 4 gets the rock versus 1, it just feels like that offensive line has their ass on fire a little more for whatever reason.
Well, I think a lot of it, I think the attitude changed last week. I do. But I think a lot of it is what they're learning about each other is timing. Remember the running play to Tank where Walker pulled inside and led up to the backer? Mm-hmm. And then Tank went right off him for like 11 yards, 8, 9 yards, something like that. Perfect timing. I mean, that's what, and when you're in a zone type offense, and that's how you're blocking, it's not like taking my man and pushing him and moving him, and I'm creating a crease and my back's just going to get there. No, it's all timing, and I got one cut to get up in there, and hopefully at that time, my guy's on his block, and I can get right off his block. And on paper, it looks beautiful. We know that doesn't always equate to on the field, but on paper, it looks that. And by the way, I think that's Doug's whole mindset. Like, wait a minute, X's and O's. It's not the rah 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 fire. It's like, I draw it up. If we block it on time, we block it the right way. This is what happens. And guess what? That's what happens because it's all timing. So you got to keep that timing together. But I think they appreciate the way Tank runs over guys. And I do think they really like Travis. There's nothing wrong with Travis. By the way, I think they like Johnson. He's a nice scat back out of the backfield. He's helping us a lot. So we got 3 guys that can play. But Tank is that now he's a workhorse who can take it to the house. And he is not only seeing the field well, he's seeing the hole well. He's hitting the hole at the right time. He's running guys over that are in the way, right? Because a lot of times, look, you think about a running play. It's drawn up this way. They know they got one guy to beat. You got to break this tackle. I can't help you otherwise. I got everything blocked up for you, son. Right? I got everything blocked up for you. But there's one guy you got to beat, and he's going to be in the hole, or at least close to it. You're going to have to either make him miss or run his ass over. And Tank has been very good at that. I mean, that's how these, it's not, you can't block everybody. Sometimes you get a hat on a hat and nickel because there's not enough guys on that front, right? There's only 6 typically, unless that safety comes down fast enough. But you get a hat on a hat. But a lot of times there's a free guy, and that back knows it. If he hits the hole the right time, at the right time, and then he knows he's got him, got to either run him over or make him miss.
To your point about timing, it feels like they hit their timing and they're humming with their timing best when 4 is in the ballgame.
I agree with you.
Again, Travis Etienne has a role in this offense. I'm not saying he didn't need to play when he gets. Of course he should.
Totally.
I just don't know, Tommy, that it's a coincidence that the one game Travis Etienne doesn't play is by far their best rushing game of the season.
Okay. The one game Cam Robinson doesn't play, is that the best performance of our O-line?
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that. You know who I am going to call out, and I love Captain Kirk, but he's got to do better in run blocking. He's not giving the full-on effort that he needs.
He's historically been better at it than he is right now, too.
He has been, and Ingram's good, but that's part of that attitude, too, because those end arounds, the announcers did it great. You seal the one guy, and it's a gain. And one of them, he had the angle on him, Kirk did, but he let him slip through him. He didn't, really seal that thing. Look, that's why it's a team effort. That's how guys break things. Like receivers down the field blocking, like it's, their life depends on it. Those break touchdowns.
I was about to say
they break touchdowns.
Receivers blocking downfield is the difference between a really nice 15-yard gain and a 50-yard house call.
Yeah.
Cutting off that last safety, getting that last corner out of the play.
Yep.
That's the difference.
And what
there.
is that?
Attitude. And
Attitude.
Yeah, correct.
It's all attitude.
It's taking
that
pride
mindset.
in.
Yeah.
It's saying not only am I going to route you up and burn you when we're throwing the ball,
Right.
but I'm burying your ass in the dirt when we run it
Well,
too.
think about this, Scramage. Okay, if I come at you I'm a receiver. If I come at you as a DB, as hard as I do on a running game, as I do on a passing game, you're not going to know what hits you when I make you miss.
Correct.
You're not going to know when that play action's coming. If you know, like if I half-ass it to you because of a running play away from me, well, then I know what it is. But if you come at me full speed and I don't know if you're running a pass route or you're coming to block me, that gives you an advantage. And then you play action him and forget about it. He's going to be open.
I go back to in the Chargers game when they had the crazy comeback in the second half.
Yep.
When they finally started moving the ball on offense in that game. If you'll remember, it was right before right before halftime when they went down and scored and that touchdown.
Right.
One of the first things they started doing was they were running swing passes to ETN normally, but Kirk caught a couple, whatever. Yep. And the receivers were blocking their ass off downfield, so it was 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards. Later on in the game, that Zay Jones touchdown streaking across the field, you caught those safeties cheating up.
Yes.
Went right over their head, get 50 yards,
Right.
50-yard touchdown.
Right.
Stuff like that is, I think, what you're talking. If Brian Thomas is aggressively coming out, blocking his, or Christian Kirk, whoever, and then you have those classic plays where I'm acting like I'm blocking, zip right past you. 6.
Well, the message is earn the play action.
Yeah.
How do you earn it? Go block your ass off for our running back so they can take one, so they can get 15 or 30 or whatever, a big chunk, who cares? And then you get to earn it. Then guess what? We're going to play action them, and that safety is going to jump. And you're going to lull that corner to sleep, and then you're going to throw on the jets, and you're going to be open. And it's going to be a thing of beauty. But it only happens if you take care of up front. They've got a pretty good defensive front. Kenny Clark's a really good defensive tackle. Really stout, physical, and got a high motor. Rashawn Gary can rush a little bit. Their leader in sacks, a guy named Devontae Wyatt, another D tackle. Preston Smith's been there a while. Jair Alexander's good. Xavier McKinney, he's got 5 picks. Those DBs are great. Lucas Van Ness, a good player. He comes off the bench, but he's a really good defensive end. You got to watch out for him. I think Isaiah McDuffie can be had again. I think Ingram can get him. Got to get him on some play action, some option routes. And then, of course, Quay Walker. A lot of these guys are questionable. They're a little bit banged up on Green Bay's side. It looks like they're going to play for the most part. But that's what it's going to come down to. Because, look, their offense is pretty explosive. I'll get into the team stats. They're explosive when you give that QB time, but that's for everybody, isn't it? You got to unsettle that QB. And whatever that means, right? I'll tell you what it means to me. We already talked about it. You keep one of the guys, 44 and 41, out there at all time. You keep DT Eric Armstead, and let's get somebody else in there that can get it. Maybe it's Jordan Jefferson. He played some snaps last week. Get him out there. I want to see Mason Smith out there. And that whole thing's screwy. I know everyone's talked about it on the radio. I won't get into it too much, but why he's not playing is beyond me. I don't understand that. He would be one of my guys. Although I have to look, Devon Hamilton has stood out. He did last week. So let's see a little bit more of that. But hands are going to be full, but that's why we play the game, baby. And, smack him in the mouth a little bit. Give him a taste of cheese, right? Rats eat cheese. Jaguars eat rats, don't they, in the jungle? Sure they do. Or if you want to go, I don't know, maybe a, what kind of crocodile am I thinking? Maybe a crocodile eats the rat. The jaguar jumps on it. You ever seen that? The caiman, where they jump in, the jaguar jumps on the caiman's back.
Yeah.
I saw one where it went underwater with it for a while and then came up with it right by the back of its head, man.
My favorite one is the deer one. There's a
straight up the tree.
I think it's a jaguar or a panther or something like that, hauling ass towards a deer that's not paying attention and is gonna just destroy him, right, and start eating him. And the deer does a little juke move.
Oh.
And like one little hop step to the right.
Yeah.
And cooks the jaguar panther and just hauls ass to the left and gets away. It was crazy.
Unfortunately, I know that feeling in the open field. It's an awful feeling. You think you're going to kill them, and they just go, and then you, Try to get that kill shot. Nothing like it, though, when you do connect. All right, let's talk Team Stats Review, brought to you by Team Tommy Mac, of course, a group of businesses that I love endorse. I talked to you about Carpet Man Flooring. My friend Jason went there, got a great deal, did his whole house, an LVP. That's luxury vinyl plank. You get it for the highest quality at the lowest prices. Great to have them on board. Carpetman flooring.biz is the carpetman.biz is the website. Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds. Make sure you keep that number in your phone, 904-822-2244. Hey, man, you get in trouble, friend gets in trouble, got to get out of the clink quick, call Chris Lucero. He'll get you out quick, man. Number one name in the bail game. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Don't forget the hauling part, man. They do a great job. They'll put the big tins out there. You fill it up with your construction debris. They come and take it, dump it, bring it back, whatever you need. They've got tins waiting for you. Make sure you call them, 844-GET-J-DOG. Azar Sausage Company, third generation, man. Homegrown, down home, right here in Jacksonville. Some of the best meat you'll ever taste. I'm telling you, absolutely fantastic. Whether in your favorite dish or in a bun, Azar Sausage is the one. Thank you very much. Code Ninjas, a great school. I'm going to be going out there next week to do a little filming. They're doing some robotics. They're making all types of things. Get your kids into the Code Ninjas after school program, all about technology. We know where the world's going. Give your kids a chance. Get them a leg up by going to codeninjas.com. Newmark Phoenix Realty Group, 904-399-5222. You know them as Phoenix Realty Group, man. They've been around forever. The number one commercial real estate firm in the area. How do I know? Because I used to work for them, and they do incredible work, whether it's industrial, office, retail, commercial, investments, even development. Give them a chance to earn your business. You'll love them. They're fantastic people. Freedom Finance, check them out, freedomfinancellc.com. Courtney Myers is there for you guys who need his help in the financial world of taking care of your business. Startup, early stage, whatever stage you're involved in. He can help you with fundraising, with forecasting, and with accounting. Make sure that you're doing it all on the up and up. Make sure you give him a chance at freedomfinancellc.com. Fields Cadillac, title sponsor of Riding Shotgun. It is out this afternoon, and Daniel Murphy was absolutely incredible as my guest this past Wednesday night. Takes you inside of how to hit a baseball in the major leagues. It was so cool about his attitude. I'll tell you, hopefully, maybe I'll tell you if I can remember before this shows up, but it was absolutely incredible. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, at TommyMac55, for that show and some other coverage as well. Michael Nickus is State Farm. He is my agent for over 20 years. He should be yours as well. Him and his team ready to take care of you 24/7. Yes, I know insurance rates are up. There's nothing they can do about that right now. However, their customer service is second to none, and that's why I've been with them over a couple decades. You should give them a chance as well. Business, personal, it doesn't matter. 904-777-6888. Family Tradition Specialty Foods, home of Coconut Joe's Hot Sauces, home of Pineapple Ghost, which is absolutely incredible. The new sauce and, sriracha, the garlic parm, it's all good, man. Just go to Family Tradition Specialty Foods.com. Put in pound Team Tommy Mac in the discount card, in the discount little bar. You get a BOGO free, man. The best hot sauce, I'm telling you. They're absolutely fantastic. Last but not least, Salt Air Inn and Suites, owned by Beachside Life Rentals. Make sure you check them out. Salt Air is right there on Atlantic Boulevard in Atlantic Beach. 4 blocks from the ocean, 2 blocks from all the action. I was there last weekend. It was absolutely fantastic. Make sure you check them out. Salt Air Inn and Suites. Of course, I want to thank 1010XL being here in the studios as I am on Tuesdays and Fridays. No, they shouldn't play a 3-4 Sunday. They don't have a nose tackle. No nose tackle, no 3-4 will not happen. They'll get their butts kicked with that. And no, I don't think they have the proper nose on the roster right now to play a 3-4 defense. All right, let's get into the team stats review. We'll start with points. Our Jags just under 21 points a game. The Packers give up just over 20 points a game. Their offense scores 26, almost 27 points a game. We give up 28 points a game. So by the looks of that, it should be 27-20 Green Bay, but I'm not taking that. Something's going to happen. Something's going to click, and they're going to find a way to do it in front of the hometown crowd. All right, yards per carry, we're at 5.1 overall. Of course, Tank's at 6.2. You don't want to ride the tank train, you're crazy. 6.2. They give up 4.3 yards a carry. And I went through it. Every team except Tennessee and Zona ran on them. Everyone ran on them. I think we can run on this team and give ourselves a chance. Of course, we're going to have to stop their run. Josh Jacobs at 4.5. Williams or Wilson at 4.7. They're 5.0 total. This is a good offensive line. David Thompson, right tackle. He's a beast, number 50. Look out for him, but be careful. If you can't stop their run, they're going to kill you in the pass. And then it will have to be a shootout for us to win. Give our defense or our offense a chance, D. Control the running game. Control the running game. You got a shot. We give up 4.2 yards per carry. Our yards per attempt, Trevor's at 7.2, 62%. They're at 6.9, 63%. So that should be pretty close there. And then they're at 7.5. Jordan Love's at 7.5 yards per attempt. Down the field, we give up 8. So you got to fix that. You only fix that by pressure. You got to try to rattle Jordan Love, man. It's got to be the key. Third down, our offense still not good, 34.2%. Their defense, 35.4%. Pretty good. We're going to have trouble on third down if we don't correct some things. Their offense, 40.5%. We're at 45, so we're going to have to play better on third down. We're not playing good enough. Better last week. No, actually, they were pretty good last week. The week before, we were better. It's got to be better on third down. Give our offense the ball so they can pound the rock and they can convert and keep them off the field. I know it's a lot easier said than done. Fourth down, we're 7 of 15 on offense. They're 4 of 9 on defense. Maybe there's something there. On their offense, they're 2 of 4, and we're 7 of 10. Fourth down's hard. There's sneaks a lot. It's a tough one. But you got to be better on that. All right, sack-wise. They got 20 sacks. We've given up 15. Got to keep Trevor clean, man. Got to keep him clean. You kept him clean last week. Keep him clean again. Come on, take some pride in that. All right, and then let's see. They've given up 7 sacks, and we got 16. So got to get to him. Got to get to Jordan Love this weekend, man. You got to. All right, interceptions. Trevor's thrown 3 with 9 touchdowns. I already told you, but Jordan Love's thrown 8 with 15. The big difference in all these stats, I think, is this one. Interceptions. We have 1. They have 9. And McKinney has 5. So be careful throwing over there. And they're +6 in turnover ratio. We're -4. 12 forced fumbles by them. They get the ball out. So we got to hold on to the ball. I'm telling you, the key is what? The key is smash mouth football. Give them a little taste of their own medicine and shove it down their throats and then play action them, and you're going to have a chance. I'm hopeful my defense finally figures it out. I don't think they will, but maybe they will, and that would be great because if you could control that offense a little bit and your offense continues to get better, and the last 3 weeks have been better, if it continues to grow and get better, you got a chance to win this game. I know a lot of it's wishful thinking, but look, man, I'm a believer in momentum, and I'm hopeful that those guys learn their lesson after they lost to Indy, that they learn their lesson, and, hey, it takes more than just showing up. Just because we won last week don't mean anything. Let's take all that preparation, all that effort for the preparation, all the energy for the game, and bring it to every week, and we'll have a chance. It's contagious. We're creatures of habit. When we feel victories, we want more of it. How did you get there? Well, if you don't have your head up in the clouds or up your own ass, you go back to work. And that's got to be from the leaders on the team and, of course, the staff trickling down. Hopefully they show up well-disciplined, well-conditioned, and very physical, and they'll have a shot. We will see on Sunday. All right, that'll do it for me this time around. Me and Grammage right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. New Horse's Mouth is out. We had a great time yesterday. And let's see. You can catch that on TommyMac.net. Of course, you'll see this show on the 1010 Jaguars YouTube channel and the regular YouTube channel, 1010XL, I would think. Put them on both. Why not? I would. It's something I would do personally. But nonetheless, appreciate all the support. Peace and love out there. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Take care of one another. Go vote. I don't care. I told my wife this. I said, look, we can go to lunch and then go vote, or we can go vote and then go have some drinks. It's up to you. But we're going to figure it out and have some fun doing it. All right, you guys all be good out there. Till next time, stay safe and be cool. And we'll see you right here. Catch it up with Tommy Mack.